I wish it was done. It's not done yet. So nothing motor-wise yet. So we're gonna go to the back of the car. My old stock sway bars. My old wheel. So right now we're gonna put this SRA back into the car because it's completely done, and just gonna cut a coil off the stock springs, and we're gonna take the IRS out because it's really expensive to build an IRS. So another thing that was done to the car besides the garage. Now, only the passenger side seat is broken in. Like, you can't go full build without a racing seat. Racing seats, and of course my old seats. That would see pieces of my car in this car, so that's what makes it so expensive now, and that's what makes this car worth that much more and that more. My back seats probably add what, like 50 horsepower?
Exactly.
So
a minimum of 50 horsepower.
Exactly. We're in a actually a pretty. It's not expensive racing seat. It's not a Corbo or a car or anything, but it's really not that bad. It's a Spec D racing seat off of eBay. So I'm in the seat. It was bolted down just fine. Everything fit. When you close the door, it doesn't rub the door or anything like some racing seats might. I mean, for, you know, 200 and some change shipped to your door pretty much overnight, no problem. It really reclines like
all the way back.
All the way back. I wish my stock seats did that. So
get some ass in the front seat.
But we're gonna fix that issue in my car sooner or later, as I'm gonna go with racing seats as well. I've already said this, but it's gonna happen, of course. Time is money and money is time, so we have ourselves, some of you guys might recognize this shifter handle. Some of you might recognize that kind of shifter handle. If you don't, it is a rare MGW shifter handle. They don't even make them anymore, so you got this with a transmission?
No, I've got that separate.
How much did you pay for it?
Probably too much.
The shifter handle itself? So, here is the owner of the car. The mysterious owner, Anonymous.
Yes, Mr. Anonymous.
He's wearing a Camaro shirt, so that's not the cool part. But, if you guys probably know, in the Mustang world, for the 99 to 04, there's always those rarity parts. The front bumper, like I have, like the car next to me has, being the silver one. Amber taillights. But when it comes to shifter handles, MGW has a rarity of handles that they don't make anymore. So this car has one. Like I told you guys, this car is a Frankenstein car. It has my back seats, it has my sway bars now, and it has one of my wheels, and it has one of my headlights as well.
Your headlight's back over there with the other bottom.
Oh, okay. It's gonna be in the wall of shame, right?
Yeah.
So if anybody has been watching my older videos, about a month or so ago, near 2 months, I had a deer hit me and it took out the headlight. So that headlight's gonna go in the wall of shame, and so is a wheel.
Yep. Until
we figure out when we're gonna get new wheels for the Mustang. I'm not gonna say which wheels though. Nobody knows. Only us know. So the question here, how much does it cost to do this swap? So my swap was around $13,000, but it can be done for less. Any swap can be done, but it all depends on how fast you want to go, as the old saying. So this swap can be done for $2,000, but this is a V6 body versus a GT. So the GT, you kind of have a rear end to work with, and your car is kind of set up more for just a motor swap. But this, so if you're pricing this and you just want to do a 5/4 swap and not worry about suspension, or you already have suspension from previous parts that you bought on your car and stuff, you can do it pretty cheaply.
Dear God, let it be a GT.
Because the
do it on a V6.
The V6, you have to swap out a lot of more stuff. So if you have the option and you haven't bought a car yet and you want to do a swap, please buy the GT roller. It's just that much easier to work with. But if you're on a budget, buy the GT roller again.
Yeah.
But no, if you want to just do the V6 and you don't want to find another roller, you can always do that, like this one. So this one has a lot of money into it. I'm not gonna say how much, but it has right around where mine has, maybe more.
Yes.
But that has to do with a lot of internal stuff as well with this motor to hold the power that it's gonna make. So the next thing to do is the cold air intake. The piping, the intake is gonna go this way still. So it will breathe like a 2-valve or a 4-valve for this year, not like mine where it sits this way because I have the Coyote. The pulleys are there that it just needs the serpentine belts.
Serpentine belt, and then I need to still put the AC compressor back on it.
Of course you need AC in the car because I really need my AC charged in my car. It needs the cooling as a radiator and stuff, and that is going to be an aftermarket Mishimoto setup. Answer some questions on what do you have to do to make this happen. A lot of people have been commenting, and I did make a video, but we're just going to kind of just do this here now and tell you what you need to get the swap done. So I'm going to head over where the owner is, and he'll be able to tell you more than I can.
You need to make this happen. First most important part is you need 1/2-inch K-member spacers. You can do it on the stock K-member. I had it mocked up several times. There's several photos of the car with this engine with long tube headers sitting on the factory K-member. It's absolutely possible.
Again, this is, I will try to get under there. 18Z K-member.
Correct. I have the full Team Z front end tubular suspension.
And the earlier videos show that and talk about it. I have it on my car. Team Z is very good. So if you guys are swapping into something, I recommend Team Z. UPR is good too, Maximum Motorsports, but my personal opinion is Team Z.
What else do you need? Well, with this being a V6, you need Hydro Boost. You will not get your vacuum booster to sit back in there. And the reason you need those 1/2-inch K-member spacers is there is no room between the head and the master cylinder. So, definitely need to do that. Another thing is that you'll definitely need is you're going to need a set of these. If you don't go with long tube headers, these are the 03, 04 Cobra exhaust manifolds. These will get you to hook up to regular, what is it, long tubes? Not long tubes, the exhaust. I have long tubes, but the other one is full length, whatever it is.
Full length X pipe or H pipe.
Yes, full length H pipe.
Catted or non-catted.
Exactly. Some other things you're going to need to make this happen. These are the high dollar pieces. Are these adapter plates? I went with a Coyote intake, so I needed an adapter plate that would convert me from this style head, which is a CD head, to the Coyote manifold. These are through MMR. They're about 200 bucks right now. Get them while you can. Reichardt Racing, and there's another guy off of one of the forums that he mills them himself. A set of intake manifold adapters that allow you to reuse a standard modular motor like the Mach 1 intake, a Cobra intake, or you could even go with the 03, 04 Whipple. Those are the main key pieces that you're going to need. Now if you're going to go this route with using the Coyote intake, you're definitely going to have to change over to Coyote fuel rails. I went with the fastest rails. You can find the guy on eBay. He also has a website. I went with him for price. I already have way too much money into this, so if these last me the next 2-3 years, I'll be happy. I can go out and buy some more. The other thing you're definitely going to need is you're going to need a Ford fuel pressure regulator adapter. This one's Aeromotive, works. You know, it's all AN, so it's all interchangeable. Let's see.
I think a Honda just passed.
Yeah, it may have been a Honda. Also, another thing you're going to need, because we have mechanical throttle cables, and the Coyote is an electronic throttle, you're going to have to switch over to a different intake or a different throttle body. You're going to have to be mechanical. I went with Wilson manifolds. Just an excellent intake, but you're going to have to get the MMR adapter plate.
And here is the part number for that.
Let's see, what else? That's pretty much the nuts and bolts of it. Because this car was a V6, there was no way to reuse the harness. So I hunted down and bought a Mach 1 harness. I got the harness, the computer, the gauge cluster. It was essentially a crashed car that I got it from. It was from headlight to taillight, the whole harness, all the computers.
And here is the cluster gauge. Just to show you. You guys can see the theft light on, so that is a full working Mach 1 cluster, and you have all your lights on just like if you were to have a V6 or GT cluster. Everything is on. What about fuel?
Fuel, you have to upgrade your fuel system. Even if you have a GT or the V6, you have to upgrade to a higher liter per hour fuel pump. These things love gasoline. You do not want to lean them out. That would be very bad. You'll ruin the engine in a matter of minutes. I have a single AEM 380. It's either a 380 or a 340 liter per hour fuel pump. I am running mine returnless. I do not have a return style system. You don't need one. The Coyote didn't have one. That's what I did for my system. I actually left all the way up to the diaphragm. All of this is stock all the way down for the fuel system except for the intake pump.
Here's your pressure regulator.
Well, this is just a pressure gauge. Pressure regulator's over here. But I just went with these kind of things just so I can have an idea, make sure everything's running properly. With the GT harness, if you're doing this in a GT car, there is a way to modify for your coil packs. I don't know how. You'd have to look that up on the internet, because I was like, I gotta change the harness. I'm gonna get a 4-valve harness. But that's it. That's the nitty gritties of it. You can fit long tubes. I've got BBK long tubes. One thing to note about if you're going to install this and try to do this, a lot of guys say they can get it to fit in from the bottom with long tubes. They probably can. They probably have a lift. I didn't have a lift. I did this here in this carport. I put the engine in from underneath with the long tubes and the transmission all mounted together. As for transmission, if your car is an automatic, you can keep the automatic. If it's a stick, you can go stick again. This engine mounts to any other mod transmission, so T54, T56, 3650, whatever the automatic is. I don't know, I don't have one. But it will do it. It's just a matter of selecting the right flex plate, make sure that it's an 8-bolt. This is an 8-bolt crank. Try to jam a 6-bolt on there, you fucked yourself. But that's it. That's pretty much it. The trans mount does not move. It all still stays in the same spot. It is a drop-in. It's a lot of work as a drop-in. It's really tight as a drop-in, but it can be done. You see one right here. There are other guys everywhere driving these things. They have different setups. So, any questions? Hit up the YouTube channel.
And probably the last question is, what is the goal of this car, and what is the end total goal horsepower of this?
end total goal, which I know I'm not going to hit for at least another 2 years because I got to save the money for what I have in it now. I'm hopefully going to push out between 600 and 700 horses. The purpose of this car is to be a track day racer, but still be streetable. That was what the whole goal of this was. Originally, it was just to be a track day car, not even to be licensed and titled to be on the road. But I'm going to put this much fun into it, you know. Another key thing I almost forgot: hoods. If you go with this hood, with this intake setup, doesn't matter if you have the cheap $300 hood or the expensive $600 hood. None of them fit. You will have to cut them. I didn't have the heart to cut a $600 hood, so I put it on my wife's car. The $300 hood, I don't give a shit. We'll cut it 1,000 times.
So guys, that is the gist of this car. Like I said, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that like button to see more videos of this car. This car has come a long way, and it's getting there to be done, and it just needs the brakes and the new rear end that we're swapping out to be driven, and of course a full exhaust. So step by step I will give you the videos, and you'll see the progress of this car and the final outcome, and it's gonna be fun. So hope you guys enjoyed this kind of in-depth video of how to do this and what is going on with this car. And I will see you next time. Have a good one.